Welcome to The Point. You are here in an amazing time of life where you're choosing what to carry forward into the new year and what to leave behind in 2023. If you've been listening and paying attention and participating since October, then you are all geared up. You've done a full evaluation of the goals you had set for this year, this time frame that's been the main discussion, and you are really prepared for the actions moving into 2024. Another beautiful thing that it's important that we talk about today is that you begin to really consider how you're going to be present, like how you're going to stay present and really enjoy and appreciate and be grateful for all of the moments this holiday season and really maximize all of the relationships and all the opportunities that you choose to maximize. There may be some things that you're leaving in 2023 that you'll also want to avoid, and that's okay. The idea is that you get to be in the driver's seat of your life, and you appreciate that. And that driver's seat can look like anything you want it to. So as you're moving through this transition into 2024, it's time to stop and think about what really is most important to you and how to maximize. It's important to stop and pay attention to something bigger than what has been considered so far. Everything that you've paid attention to since October, as you followed through with the past focus points and assignments, then it's time to expand your vision. So at the end of this podcast, you will clearly know how to fully expand your vision to the farthest possible reach. You will have some specific tools and ways of thinking and stretching your ability to plan and to set goals. You will have some clear understanding. You will have a clear direction and understanding of how to really maximize the feelings you're having that are the result of the goals in that farthest reaching moment that you've set for yourself. And you will also be able to bring it back into not only this next year and your planning for this next year, but also into the moment so that you can have and experience the feelings and the sensations of making those goals real, or that goal real and visceral. And on top of it all, you're going to be able to clearly define daily behaviors that you can begin to anchor in today, that you can have confidence will start the ball rolling, will start the journey to exactly what it is that you want in whatever time frame you selected. So that's what is being covered today for you. It's exciting to be here. It's exciting to think about how we can end cycles and processes and behaviors and results that we have been getting. If you have been getting results that you get to leave behind now, that's exciting. And it's good to be excited. It's good to be excited and to think, wonder, and realize how great everything really could be, how great your life can be without the things that you're letting go of. So first step that's really important to talk about. First step is for you to sit and if you're driving right now, don't close your eyes. If you're in the grocery store, maybe just stop for a second, find a place to stand still and keep your eyes open enough to be aware of your surroundings. But if you're in the gym, or if you're just sitting at home or in your office watching or listening to this, then that's really safe. You can close your eyes and follow the instructions here. Otherwise, be prudent, be smart, and take care of yourself in this process. So you're going to start by closing your eyes and taking nice deep breath. Just, I like to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, and just think about and answer. The first thing that comes to your mind is, how far out are you currently dreaming and setting goals? How far out are you imprinting or planting your plans? Some of you are setting it for 5 years. Some are 10. For years, it seems the common that you'll hear about is have 5-year goals, have a 5-year plan. And that's really good for keeping us in the steady stream of immediate needs. It's really good. We've talked in the past, and you've heard me say, you've heard the whole conversation about why to set larger overarching goals, because it really clarifies for you what principles and values you will have in those settings. When you've achieved being the person you want to be, that has all of the resources and opportunities and abundance that you're desiring. If you're making the impact you're expecting to make at those levels of goals that you're setting, then you have a clear picture of what's happening, and it makes today's decision-making much, much simpler. So lots of comments have come back from all of you, from many of you, in regards to the power of that helping. Well, we're going to talk today about really specific steps you can take to get it farther, but we're going to start here with this idea of take a deep breath and set the initial goal. Where are you today with the goals that you've set? If they're 5, 10, 20 years, even if they're 90 years, even if you followed the suggestion to set a 90-year plan for yourself, when you take the next deep breath, consider doubling. Consider doubling that goal. Now, whatever goal you've selected, doubling that length of time frame that you will seek forward as to what the impact of your efforts and your life will be. Then really take that deep breath and now consider it as far out beyond what you have already done. If you can go farther, if you've set 5-year goals and made 5-year plans, and you can go farther than 2 times, go as far as you can. Really encourage you to set it out as far as you can. And then consider, what will the results of the efforts that I'm putting forward be in that time frame? So this was done with someone that just in the last week, and something really interesting came from it. And you're going to get a chance to hear this, a really small version of what we're talking about that is just a shorter clip of the value of what we're talking about. Now, this can actually help you with tasks you're trying to perform. Maybe you're cleaning something up. You're cleaning an environment. Maybe you clean your house. You might have someone else cleaning your house for you on a regular basis. You might be cleaning your driveway or your garage, or doing something that, whether you enjoy it or not, you might be working in your garden. This particular individual was focused on some cleaning projects that were like a year-end purge of all the things, and changing their environment on a physical level, both with cleanliness and organization and some other things. And the idea is to set the highest level goal, and you can do it just for the project. And then we're going to bring in all of our senses to create the reality of how it's going to feel for you when you have reached the pinnacle of that goal. Right? So in this case, working with someone that had a goal to have a completely reorganized house and property. It was more of a property, and it was feeling like a grind. And so The values that you can have when you're doing this could be challenged when you feel resistance from doing the behaviors that are going to get you to where you want to go. So the idea here is to consider how you will feel. So start with what you will see. Let's just go through the basic 5 senses and think about when you've reached the goal, what will you see? What will be visually different for you? What will be visually the same? And what will, maybe you are going to be, when you reach your goal, maybe it means that you will be on an exotic trip. What will that trip look like? What will you be seeing for the first time or revisiting it again? Who will be with you? Will you be seeing their face? Will you be walking behind them and watching the back of their head or the way they walk? Will you be walking next to them? Right? So you can think about, what will you be hearing? Right? In this case, there was an experience where wanting a clean environment, a reorganized environment, and a purging of things that they no longer need. That just if you're doing that, and you no longer need some things and you're getting rid of them, think through, how will the environment look when you're done? What will it sound like? Will you put on music and will you be feeling a different level of peace because of the new organization? What level of accomplishment will you be feeling? What happens is, as we start working through this kinesthetically, what will it be like to move around in that environment? Going through this process now, what can you smell? What can you taste? Maybe you'll cook differently because that kitchen's more organized. So in the scenario that we just went through, what was a grind for quite some time actually became this understanding of how you want to live. This particular person was how they wanted to live in a much bigger time frame, and then how to bring that into the daily environment came with reorganizing everything that was in the current view. And so reorganizing that became a grind of resistance and a lot of other challenges interpersonally that were happening and keeping this person from moving forward. So by imagining visually, auditorily, kinesthetically, our sense of taste and smell, how are we going to feel emotionally? How will your thoughts be different? So this person went through that experience while they were going through the process of cleaning and reorganizing, and all of it became easier because they were in the presence of actualizing the result. And actualizing the result, what happens is you go from a shift. You shift from wanting a new environment, wanting a new feeling, wanting a new set of circumstances, to having. Because if you can see it, hear it, experience it, smell it, and taste it, and feel it, if you can do those things, then you are in the process of having, experiencing, doing. And then you can let go of the want or the desire and have it, express it, feel it, whatever that goal is. So that's an example of a shorter time frame of someone like you, successful, forward moving, looking at ways to encourage and feel better in how to move forward towards larger goals, break through unwanted resistance. And just by using that process of setting the highest goal possible and then bringing it down and then really dreaming, visualizing, and experiencing what it will feel like when it's done, made the behaviors of doing all of a sudden easier. So it was a great example. I was so happy to hear the feedback. So the encouragement here is for you to try this. And if you want to try it on a smaller scale, jump on it. That's an example. And you can be creative as you want with the other examples you might dream up. If you provide feedback, that's amazing. It'll help others. If you do it for yourself and keep it to yourself and just share it with your loved ones, that's amazing. right? And what a great time to do that right now when we're in this transition. So now let's go back to the idea of you setting your highest vision, your longest time frame out from today towards what you want in life, what you want the impact of your life to be. When you consider whatever time frame you pick, if you're beyond 90 or 100 years, awesome. If you're not, you're getting closer to it, awesome. Whatever number you have picked, it's awesome because it's your number. It's the distance you're comfortable with that is still in reality, because you remember the discussion of not wanting to fall into fantasy, that neurologically that doesn't work. When you step off into fantasy, something you can't completely even consider, then it can be counterproductive. So when we visualize and when we set affirmations and when you work on doing those things, it's important that you are in the realm of understandably realistic ideations that you can buy into. So whatever that number is you've selected, it's perfectly your number and in your comfort zone in what you want to achieve. So stick with it. I encourage you not to question it. And now breathe into that and really think, what will it look like? So go through the steps, take out a pen and a paper. If you like to do voice recordings, use a voice recording or talk to text and just start to dialogue and get it written down, what it is that you'll be seeing, hearing, experiencing, and go into the details. Go into the details. Get as detailed as you can, and you will begin to have the experience of achieving it. And the feeling is the secret. The feeling is the way. The feeling is the experiential to having. Now, when you've completed that, start thinking about, we're going to shift then and start going into what are the behaviors that I can do today that I know will start the ball rolling to get to where I want to go. So you want to go into the vision of your next move. So your largest set goal, you bring down, you know what that's going to feel like. You've dialogued that, you've written that. You bring that down to what are your next best steps to keep that ball rolling or to get that ball rolling. So begin to write down those steps. Then consider the same things. Bring in all of your senses into what accomplishing those smaller level things will do. And you will then be able to set down quickly and say, and know and understand what behaviors are going to help you get there. Now, what I want you to practice with as you get through this process is then starting to set some type of mantra. A great idea is, if you're talking about a level of fitness that you want, is you can bring your thoughts around what level of fitness. And the recommendation is for you to think about, what is that fitness going to give you? What ability will you have with that level of fitness, so that you can really think about all of your senses in the doing of the ability that you're looking for. There might be that you want to play a sport. It might be that you want to skydive, ride motorcycles, jump off cliffs, swim, go on great travel, fit better in an airline seat, whatever it is. It's the idea is for you to set that goal and that understanding, and then feel what that's like to be accomplishing and achieving and doing those things. So if it's a fitness goal, then when you bring it all the way back down to the daily behaviors, and you know that that means moving your body daily is important. So some things you will want to do daily, some weekly, some monthly, some maybe 3 times a week. And you can set the standards of the behaviors that you will want to repeat and start doing as a routine. And you want to start setting the routines that you can guarantee and know will help you reach the desired outcome. That if you continue to do that. Now, when doing that, the things that you've written down that are your feelings and your senses and the things that you're experiencing having achieved that goal, you can bring down into those daily behaviors and create your own best repeatables, right? And create these repeatables that you can just say over and over. It's called a repeatable for a reason, a base repeatable. A base repeatable speaks to the foundation that you're trying to create, and it speaks to the highest overarching goal that you're trying to deliver. If you work in a restaurant, you've probably heard someone say, or ask, have you washed your hands? Or recommend, wash your hands. If the owner of the restaurant comes in, a bus person or anyone from any level, it would be appropriate for them to look at the owner if they're stepping onto a kitchen line and remind them or ask them, have you washed your hands? Or don't forget to wash your hands. That would be an appropriate statement because it's a based repeatable. It's a given that it needs to happen for health and cleanliness. So it speaks to the foundation of having a good restaurant. And if you're amazing at those things, it speaks to having absolutely no reason why you can't have the best environment possible in that restaurant. It eliminates tons of risk and things that could happen that would not be beneficial. So it speaks to both sides of that goal. So you can begin to set base repeatables. If you're going to the gym to train, you could say, every time I go to the gym and train, I get stronger and everyone I know and love gets stronger. That would be a great base repeatable. Every time I go to the gym, I gain in my community. That would work. Anything you can think of that would work. Every time I eat nutritiously, every time I eat the combinations I've chosen for myself, my body heals and cleanses and is better prepared for all the things I want to do. And maybe you get really specific about what you'll be doing. So you can create the base repeatables off of those experiences that you've listed that are from your visual and your auditory and kinesthetic and olfactory and gustatory senses. And when you bring it into your feeling sense and you start having an emotional feeling, all of those things help us feel emotionally the result of having already achieved a goal we've set. So that helps deliver what those base repeatables could be to best drive it, because whatever we use as a repeatable can help you create the emotions you're looking for of having achieved it. And again, the behavior becomes simpler, easier, and the conversation you'd be having wouldn't even include any ideas other than forward moving. They wouldn't include any level of resistance. Because what is resistance? Resistance is nothing more than an opportunity to overcome. Resistance is nothing more than a part of you wanting to hold on and not change, wanting to hold on to the feeling of safety or whatever it is that you're having. And if it's strong enough, you can look at what gains you might be having from not changing. Well, most of the time when we go through this process, all of those issues dissipate and go away because you're in the sense of accomplishment of what it might be like. The other thing that you begin to learn is you begin to get curious, and curiosity is good. Is it not? I mean, you have curiosity about something, then you're learning and you're growing and you're reaching towards it. You're gaining an understanding. So as you become more curious about what would it feel like? What will it feel like? What will it look like, sound like when I've reached this goal? You might start asking people that have already achieved what you'd like to achieve, what the experience is like. A deep consideration that you can ask yourself is, what challenges or problems will I have once I've achieved that goal. A lot of people in the world saying, I want to make $1 million. I want to make $10 million. Well, if you're one of those people that wants to make $10 million, you might want to consider what your day will look like managing $10 million. What decisions will be different from what you're making now to then? What types of phone calls will you be receiving? What money will you need to spend to support yourself in having a healthy level of taxes instead of just paying as much as possible? Right? And you get to create and craft your own opinions and beliefs around how you want that to how you want to interact with that. How will that be different than what you're doing today? All of these considerations help you do that. And being curious about what it's like will put you in touch with the possible opportunities or problems or challenges that you will be having. And again, you're that much more connected to having instead of wanting. So the trick is, as we breathe into this, and we've gotten through a lot of meat here, if you've followed through and actually written all of these things down, you've gotten into some real meat of possibilities of what will drive success for you. And that's exciting. That's exciting because that helps you know it's attainable and achievable. And that helps you prepare for the emotional side, or what right now, if you had, might feel like pressure. Imagine, as someone with $10 million flowing, imagine the size of a credit card bill you'd be paying. You'd want to have the best credit cards that deliver the best rewards for travel and for other things. So what would that look like? What would you be buying and putting on credit and then paying? Today, at your current level of success or your current level of finances, that size of credit card payment might feel a certain way that is overwhelming. And when you're in the absolute, and when you're in the moment of having achieved and having accomplished what you want to accomplish, the size of the credit card bill that would today be intimidating for you would be simple and easy to pay. You might not even pay attention to it, or you might pay attention to it and feel grateful for paying such a high bill. How many of you feel grateful when you pay your credit card bill? Knowing the people that are here, that are attracted to this show and to this content, many of you are absolutely grateful when you have the resources to pay the credit card bills, and that's an easy and effortless, and the joy that the things you've purchased or supported or done with those resources follow all the way through into paying the bill. That energetic exchange feels amazing to close, because then you get the reward of that energy investment. So when you pay the credit card bill, it's an immediate payoff, and the energetic exchange completes in what you receive. So many of you listening, and if you are not in that position today, this process will help you get there, because you will begin to consider how grateful you'll be to have the resources at the level of income you'd like to be. So there's two short examples between physicality and finances that will work, but you can perform this task. You can work this magic on relationships, on healing, on mental wellness, emotional wellness. You can aim this energy and aim these behaviors and these thought processes towards anything that you want. You can aim it towards family. You can aim it towards your own self-improvement, and you can find the gains. If we no longer want because we have or do or experience, or because wanting can be an expression of not having or lacking. Now, there's also the framework of wanting something is healthy, and therefore we work towards it by doing this level of planning. Both are true, and you can embrace both in a yes and format. You may have thought in the past that those two ideas compete with each other, and they don't. They don't have to. Those two ideas can work in unison and help you achieve everything that you want faster. Because it's how you frame it and how you consider it and think about it in your mind. So this is important for you if you've been following through and listening to this podcast and acting in the behaviors and in the suggestions made in this podcast. If you're getting to the point of these things, then this is a breath of fresh air, because here we get out of the mundane day to day and really take it bigger, larger, and greater. And right before Christmas and right in the middle of Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating this season, right before the new year, you're having an opportunity to consider the largest goal possible in your world and in your life, and make actionable, clear steps into the daily duplicatable behaviors that will help you and that will absolutely just naturally allow you to step into those realizations. So looking forward to the next episode, looking forward to hearing from anyone and everyone that's heard this. So if you've heard this and you've made action and you're getting some type of result, drop me a message and make a comment. Whatever it is that you like to do, find a way to interact and let it be known what you're doing. That's another way of feeling the results of positive and of actionable behaviors that you're making to benefit your life and those that, and the lives of those that you love and you appreciate and that you want to lift. So whatever holiday is that you're celebrating, enjoy it, embrace the moment, use your greatest sense of self to really, really deeply experience every moment positively and to express yourself in your most accurate, true, authentic self in a loving and kind way. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us for another amazing episode of The Point with me, Jeff Spikes. The greatest compliment you could give me is liking, loving, and sharing this episode with all your friends. So please, if you're on Spotify, iHeart, or iTunes, leave a 5-star rating and review. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Make sure to tag me. I love hearing from you, the listeners of this show. The links for all my social and iTunes are in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to engage with me in anything related to my coaching, consulting, speaking, or programs, please visit jeffspikes.com for everything you would need to know to engage with me offline. And lastly, thank you for your time, your attention, and your consideration. This is The Point.